It began with an ad on Craigslist. "Moving sale, everything must go," it read. The promise of a vintage stereo system and plasma TV grabbed my attention. The catch? The house was way outside the city, deep in the countryside. I almost didn't bother, but greed got the better of me. By the time I arrived, the sun had dipped below the horizon. The house, an old farmhouse with chipped paint and dark windows, sat alone in a field. The only light came from a single bulb hanging over the door. I knocked, and after a long moment, the door creaked open. A man stood there, gaunt and pale, his eyes hollow. He barely spoke, just nodded as I mentioned the ad and led me inside. The house smelled damp and rotting. Something felt wrong, but I pushed the feeling down, focusing instead on the idea of a quick profit. "Stuff's in the basement," the man said, gesturing to a door at the end of the hall. I hesitated. A basement? My gut told me to leave, but I'd come all this way. Reluctantly, I followed him down the stairs. The deeper we went, the colder it got. When we reached the bottom, I looked around. The basement was empty. The door slammed shut behind me. I spun around, but it was too late. I was locked in. "Hey!" I shouted, pounding on the door. No response. Panic surged, and I began searching the dark, concrete room for another way out. That's when I heard the laugh. It came from the far corner, a soft wheezing sound. Slowly, a figure stepped out from the shadows. A man, or what had once been a man. His clothes hung off his skeletal frame, and his skin was stretched tight over his bones. His eyes gleamed with madness. "He always brings people here," the figure rasped, shuffling closer. "And he always watches." I backed away, my heart racing, but there was nowhere to go. The basement stretched into a labyrinth of dark corridors. I ran blindly through them, the walls closing in, my breath ragged. I found another door. I lunged for it, only to freeze as it opened from the other side. Another figure stood there, taller, with glowing eyes and sharp, jagged teeth. It grinned at me, a grotesque parody of a smile. "You never should have come here," it whispered. "Now, you're ours." They closed in, their voices blending into a sickening chorus of laughter and whispers. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. I was trapped. Then the basement door creaked open again. The man who'd let me in stood at the top of the stairs, watching, his eyes cold. "You know," he said calmly, "people are so trusting. Craigslist is a goldmine for fools like you." I stumbled backward, helpless. The creatures surged forward, their faces twisted with glee. "I don't know how long I've been down here. The basement never ends. They never stop watching, never stop tormenting. Sometimes the man comes back just to smile at me. The ad is still up, he's still hunting. If you ever see a listing that seems too good to be true, remember, once you step into this house, there's no way out, and you'll join the rest of us."